you're tired of hearing the same old basic mindset and motivational fluff talk, you've come to the right show. Welcome to Project Me with Tiffany Carter, the podcast where we dish on everything from managing that crazy brain of yours to manifesting abundance to my straightforward, actionable steps that will make you major money online. Now, I'm not your typical multimillionaire entrepreneur. It takes a small village to keep my anxiety and depression in check. I'm inherently disorganized with an intense obsession with office supplies. Your girl here is a digital marketing content expert who's generated over $200 million in sales. I promise by tuning in twice a week, you will get a much needed refreshing dose of truth, clarity, and cash-making advice. Now let's get to it. There's a catch to creating freedom-level wealth. When you have the money to have limitless options to do what you want, when you want, and how you want. No half measures can be taken. Consistent action and dedication is required. This isn't hard work. This isn't energy sucking. This isn't self-sacrificing. This isn't time consuming unless you keep taking half measures and trying to figure it out on your own. Money is actually easy to make if you believe it is and you allow it to be. If you want me to show you the way, I'm here for you as long as you're humble and willing to give full measure energy to it. And yes, this will feel scary. Yes, all of your money noise will come up. Yes, this will be a significant business investment. But what should be far scarier to you is seeing minimal to no growth in your business after trying all the things with not much to show for all that effort. My applications are going to be closing soon for my famous 2-month private business coaching program. I will not be taking private clients anymore this year after these applications close. Swipe up. That link is right in the show notes to apply, and we will see if this is a great fit for you and your business right now at this time. What up, my people, my posse, my fellow crazies? I'm your host, Tiffany Carter, and this episode is exactly what you need if you are in a space where you're really selling anything online. This is going to be geared a lot towards my social sellers and network marketers and affiliate marketers, but there's more you need to hear in this episode than just that surface strategy stuff. And it's, what does it really take to be successful? When you look at those people who are speaking on big stages, who have all these followers, who are making millions of dollars, what separates that person from maybe where you're at? I remember when I was making $17,000 a year, I'd look at people who were even at 6 figures, like, but how do I get there? It was like there was no one giving me like a step by step. I was like, am I doing it right? Like, I needed some confirmation. Am I at least on the right track here? And we're going to have a really blunt conversation with my guest today about what that takes. And we're going to have some really good rants on network marketing, which I know there's a lot of you who will appreciate. So I have brought on my friend Arin Fugate, and she is a wellness educator, success coach for visionary leaders. And she is in the top 2% of her network marketing company and the top 1% of all network marketers worldwide. So she's made over $2 million in network marketing and supports her entire family on this. And so that's rare. That is not typical, but it's also equally as available to you. So welcome to the show. Let's get into it. It is available to everyone. It was available to you when you started. It's available to any person listening from any background. Success is here for everybody. What is, in your 14 years of doing this, of leading teams, of educating, of coaching people, what is the difference between those who have success and those who just cannot get out of their own way?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's something that keeps me up at night. I think about it all the time because I want to help other people do this. And so I need to be able to articulate that. And what I've come to is, number one, non-negotiable desire. So when I started my network marketing business, I don't have a high school degree.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yep. I was homeschooled, which really means unschooled.
Were you like raised in a prairie? Being
Yeah.
homeschooled, it's not like you're 25 years old. I mean, that was weird then to be homeschooled.
No, I was raised, I was raised in a cult. So I
Oh,
was raised
that's
in a
right.
spiritual cult.
I'm like, that's right. I was like, that's like normal. Okay. Go ahead. Wait, tell this part and then we'll go
This
back.
part is important. This part is important. So until the age of 21, I lived away from society. I didn't go to school. I was in a spiritual commune. We had a whole different scene going on. So when I left, I was like, oh shit, you're supposed to have a degree to get a job. And I didn't have even regular schooling. So I did go and get my GED and I did enter into college and pass the SATs. But because of the way I was brought up, I was like, this doesn't make sense to me. I don't know how to spend thousands of dollars to get a degree when I don't even know what I want to be. And I just, in my mind, went, I'm going to have to go be an entrepreneur because I really can't fit the mold of someone who goes into corporate world. So I knew that from a young age, but for many years I struggled. Like I was a server in restaurants. I was a personal assistant. I got to the point where I really burnt out on the gig economy.
What's a gig economy mean?
Gig economy is like, okay, for 3 months, I have a job as a personal assistant to some record executive, and then they decide to fire me. So now all of a sudden I have no money. I was living in Los Angeles, California, just kind of like I would work an event. Or here's a funny story. I worked Hunter S. Thompson's funeral.
That's weird.
Like, I've got
What do you mean what do you mean you worked a funeral? Like what do you do at working a funeral?
I was hired to be the Polaroid girl. No press was allowed. I was the only camera operator allowed, and it was a Polaroid. And I walked around the party and took pictures of all the guests. And Hunter S. Thompson had a lot of writer friends.
Yeah.
So by the end of the night, this is totally a tangent, but it's funny. By the end of the night, I ended up with the autographs of all these famous writers written in Sharpie all over my arms. It was supposed to be on the Polaroid, but it ended up on my arm. So this is like the life I lived in.
I live in Los Angeles. That sounds like that's not even surprising to me. That sounds like an LA story where it's like you just went from like gig to gig, but it wasn't like you had a career path.
I didn't have a career path. I just was trying to pay rent. And along the way, I picked up a drug habit. I started drinking heavily. And before I knew it, I was just deep in the LA party scene.
What was your drug of choice?
Meth for a while, but mostly cocaine.
I mean, I was like, you guys, if you saw me, I'm like, I'm wearing my money robe, which is ridiculous. But I'm like, yeah, I pegged you for meth. Okay. So why did you go right to meth? Did you go straight to meth or did you do coke and then got to meth from coke?
Okay. Let's think about this. I think my first drug as an adult was ecstasy.
Yeah, that was one of my first.
And that was kind of like, everybody's having fun. And then it was coke. And then it was meth because I love to dance. So it was like the perfect.
Well, you're in the right company. Yeah, exactly. And then you can go all night and it's a vibe and it makes you skinny. Were you skinny?
I was so skinny.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'll show you some pictures. So that's like the LA. God, you really had the cliche LA life. The cliche. When I went to LA, it was like in a borrowed car and $300 in my pocket. Absolutely. It was absolutely that life. And I mean, it was fun until it wasn't. And then I kind of woke up one day and I was like, I'm going to be a 50-year-old woman going to clubs if I survive. And I just had this all of a sudden, like, this cannot be your life. I wanted to be a mom. I wanted to get married someday. And I still had that self-worth issue, which was, I don't have an education. So what am I going to do? And I also had it in my mind that if I wanted to be healthy, I should work in the health and wellness sector. Because if it was my job to be healthy, it'd be better accountability. So that's kind of all I had on my horizon. And I thought about becoming a yoga teacher, but you can't really make money as a yoga teacher. Going back to school and becoming like an acupuncturist, but I really didn't have the luxury to go back to school. I had no money, no credit. So it was right at that moment, I had moved out of Los Angeles to Santa Barbara. I was living with my mom and I was going to yoga every day. And somebody in the yoga studio walked up to me and said, I hear you like essential oils. And I was like, no, I don't. My mom likes essential oils. And he was like, well, there's a new company on the scene and they're looking for educators. I don't know why I listened to him. He was kind of cute and he drove a BMW. That's why I listened to him.
I would have probably listened.
I think he took me out on a date too. So I was like, okay, tell me what you're talking about. And he started telling me about the company. And he also told me that his mom had made a lot of money in network marketing. Like he grew up with a network marketing. So I kind of felt like maybe I had an in, like a mentor. I did like the product. And at that time, 14 years ago, I knew that my product was going to be very hot to market.
How did you know that?
I just am very futuristic about things. Essential oils were not yet hip. And I could just tell. I was like,
you trusted your gut on it.
I just trusted my gut. I just knew. I knew if marketed the right way and if the bottles looked the right way, that people would want it. So I just said yes. And I had no idea what I was doing, but I was living on frozen burritos, again, out of my mom's living room with no other options in sight. So I went full force. Now, the thing about it is full force for me at that time, and I think this is how a lot of people get started, was I wanted to make $1,500 a month. If I thought if I could make $1,500 a month, it would give me breathing room and I would be able to figure out what my next step was.
Yeah. Did you have any of those preconceived opinions or stigmas or negative beliefs around network marketing? Or did you not have any of those because you were raised in a cult? So you weren't as programmed by bullshit of society of it's a pyramid scheme and all this shit.
Okay. So I had a little bit of both. My grandma was a top World Book saleswoman in the 1950s.
Was World Book the encyclopedias?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Grandma was savage. Those were like door-to-door people.
She still is savage. She is still alive and she's in my downline.
Dying. Granny's in the downline.
Granny's in the downline.
Granny's probably making coin.
She's doing good. Yeah.
Oh,
she did really good. And what's amazing about her is same thing. She supported her whole family with her direct sales business. So I knew that a woman could be successful in direct sales. But at the same time, because of my grandma's success, my family picked up every new network marketing product. And
they were those people where it was like, people. And we know that doesn't work because now you're like shiny object syndrome.
And it was like the whole family has to sign up.
Like now you're doing the stamp. Did you guys do the stamps? The stamp.
Okay, we did the telephone service. We did the chocolate service. I mean, they did. I was just a kid. All of it. My mom even got involved in like the actual real pyramid schemes that are actually illegal.
So are there actual like legit pyramid schemes like still?
Absolutely. They come out about every 10 years. It has a resurgence. Bunch of people make a bunch of money and then they go underground again.
Wow.
So it's a real thing. You should watch out for them. If there is not a actual physical product that you can hold in your hand that people want and need, then it is a pyramid scheme.
Okay. And what do you say to people, whether they're new people that you meet, a stranger who, gives their opinion that was never asked? What do you say to people when they're like, when you tell them what you do for work and they go, oh, there's no money in that. And aren't those just like pyramid schemes? What's your response?
I get really curious. So I might say something like, oh, it sounds like you've got a story there. Do you want to share it? Like, I want to know. And I relate to them. Like, I understand. I have felt that way. My family was always bringing me a new network marketing scheme. And most of them are schemes. There's a lot out there that are.
I agree. There's a lot that they might not be a pyramid scheme. They're like legal, but the comp plan is terrible.
Comp plan can be bad. Sometimes the product's trash and people, it's their garage is filling up with the product. So I just have a lot of compassion. Yeah, tell me more. What are you talking about? And sometimes they need a little education. Sometimes they need to understand what's network marketing, what's a scheme, how do you look at the different aspects. And if they're open to talking to me, I talk to them about it. But here, this is one of the things that I think has made me successful and holds other people back. I don't care if you're a no. One of my mentors says, you're a yes or a no, but tell me fast because I have to go. So I just don't care. I don't care. Like, you're not into it. No problem.
You don't take it personal and you don't like take it home with you. Oh, see, this isn't going to work. 3 people said no today. Cause I feel that's what coming from, I was in pharmaceutical sales. I was a salesperson of legal drugs. But I mean, you got no's, they sounded different, right? As a doctor going, I'll never use that drug, like da da da, and you're like, your job is to get them to, prescribe it. I would say sometimes you could get discouraged. How am I ever going to make my number? Someone else said no, especially if you have a day with a bunch of no's, it sucks. Why does that not knock you around at all?
I guess I don't ever take no as no. First of all, I also am much more into attraction marketing than the old school bro network marketing. So a lot of network marketing trainers will say, okay, make your list. And now you need to go reach out to all those people and ask them to try your product or look at your business. And I've done a little bit of that, but not much. I rely heavily on social media and traditional networking. And I am just an open person. I love connecting. I love making friends. And I'm known as the woman in town that sells that thing and is with that company. And people come to me.
But in the beginning, when you started, I mean, social media wasn't what it is today.
I'm an early adopter of social media. And I've been like, I was on MySpace and Tribe, and I definitely used social media to build my business from the beginning.
Wow. Tribe. What the hell is Tribe?
Tribe. You don't remember Tribe?
No.
Tribe.net. It was pre-Facebook. Like, it was like the cool side of MySpace.
Wow. Yeah, so there's something within you that you're not afraid to go after and try something new, because this was a new product to the market, a new network marketing company, new social media platforms. Whereas there's people like me, I'm calling myself out. I can be too conservative to a fault, where I'll be in a lot of resistance. I joke on the show about like me going on TikTok. It's like, I know I need to, and then I'm in and I'm out. Like, there's a lot of resistance to new. Like, I want to see how it's working for other people. But then you miss, right? When you're too resistant to risk like that, you miss the big upside. What do you think about like your childhood that made it so you're like, fuck it, I'm going to try it?
So I was always told that I'm really smart and I'm really special. And even though my childhood was super messed up in many other ways, I came out of it with an extreme amount of confidence, a deep trust to like the magic of things, the divine plan, you might call it, just knowing that everything is always ultimately working out for me. So I think I have this, I definitely am the opposite of what you're explaining, where I will just jump. If everything is a green light for me, which I base on an internal feeling, if I feel like it's God driven, If I feel like I'm getting signs or there's guidance, then I jump without even worrying about my wings. So in the beginning, I had a very strong feeling inside of my heart that this is what I was supposed to do. And I gained a lot of belief in the product very early on. And as soon as I believed, oh, this product is going to change lives, then it was almost evangelical, which I know is what some people don't like about network marketing, but I'm kind of here to tell you that if you want to do network marketing, you need to get a little evangelical about your product. And if you're not, wrong product.
Any business. You better be like that about your podcast. I'm like that about any of my programs. Like I'm about like that about my social media accounts. Like you're crazy to not be on my email list. Like you've got to feel that way about it, because if you don't, why the hell would anyone trust you with their money, time, or energy if you're not obsessed with it?
And when you're a business owner, there isn't a separation. Like you are your business. So in network marketing, even though you're a representative for a company, you have to own it as though you own that company. And I always have thought that way about it. I know that my company wouldn't exist if it wasn't for people like me. So I don't work for them. I own a stake in them. I helped to create them. And so I look at it just as though I had my very own business and I'm like a walking billboard in a non-obnoxious, non-cheesy way. And that's a big balance.
Why do you think it is that most people in any form of direct selling, network marketing, affiliate marketing, whatever, it's 3 months. They go in, they get excited, they love the products. That's not like deniable. They've come to you from attraction marketing. They think you're great and they go in and then they fizzle out in 3 months, even though they say they want it as a business. They say they want at least that $1,500 a month. They love the products. What the hell happens with these people?
Success is boring. It's totally boring. You wake up, and what I mean by that is the activities that it takes to be successful in network marketing or other business. It's really boring. You wake up every day and you do your DMO.
What's a DMO?
Daily method of operations. I know you have it, Tiffany.
I mean, I do, but I didn't know there was like a phrase. That's amazing.
It's your DMO. It's the non-negotiable things that you do every day to move your business forward. For me,
without a doubt, yeah.
Without a doubt. Like you wouldn't imagine going to bed.
Never.
Right. And so for a lot of people, that's either boring or they've never been that committed to anything in their life, or they are that committed to other things in their life and they're not able to find the room for their business. They don't have enough belief. That's a big one. So you get all hyped up. You're like, you go to the presentation, you learn about the opportunity, you love your product. And for 2 hours, you are full of belief, or as I like to call it, hopium, right?
Oh my God, I love
right? You know
that.
what I'm talking about.
Totally.
And you're just, if you can maintain that, you would set the world on fire.
Oh my God, if I could bottle it, I would sell it. I'd be a full-on junkie over hopium.
You know the feeling. You're like, my product's going to save the world. My company's going to save the world. I'm amazing. You're amazing. Let's do it. And then you go home and your spouse says something, does something that makes you lose a little bit of belief. You go to work, your coworkers maybe say something nasty about your product, your company, you lose even more belief. Then you start to not believe in yourself because you haven't enrolled anyone in 30 days. And then before you know it, your belief is on empty.
And that means the belief was never really there if it was that easy to go away, don't you think?
Well, this is one of the dark sides of network marketing. Network marketing is always getting you to the next event. You're going to your company's convention. You're getting on your upline's call. And why they do that is to fill you up.
To give you hopium.
To give you hopium. Because we know it gets drained. It gets drained. If you can figure out how to have your own internal belief and be able to fill that up yourself so that you're resistant to all the naysayers and all the no's, then you will keep doing the thing. And everybody has a different way of filling up that belief. I think I'm not super religious. I do believe in a divine plan and a higher power, but a lot of very successful network marketers are super religious people.
Yes. And I don't give a shit. I'm going to say it. You don't have to say it. And I'm not claiming that you believe what I believe. And I've coached some of them. And a lot of them are also in the top 1% and 2%. And I believe they use the God and faith thing, and it's shady as fuck. And they use it as a form of manipulation. And I don't like it. Yeah. I'm saying it. I don't care. I'm not in network marketing. I'm saying it.
I hear you on that, but here's what I take from success leaves clues, right? So what is happening that's making them so successful? Sure, there's a shady aspect, but they truly believe that they are on a God-given mission. And that belief gets them up every day and makes them want to go do their DMO.
Even if it's someone like drinking their own Kool-Aid or their own thing. Yeah, I that's very interesting. Yeah, they buy into it. Even if there is manipulative aspects to it, they buy into it. Therefore, they keep showing up.
Yeah, so you don't have to do it like that, but you have to take complete ownership for your mindset. So you know this from your mindset coaching and your mindset work, that if you can design the mindset that will lead you to success, you will be successful. So network marketing, or you're a business owner, doesn't matter. If you're selling something, you have to have that full belief. So what's the mindset that you have to have that's going to make it so your belief is impenetrable? Nobody can take it away from you. So for some, it's I'm on a mission by God.
Okay.
For others, for me, it's I believe every single home needs a bottle of lavender in their bedroom.
It's legit. Like, okay. Legit. Okay.
And that's what I wake up and I'm here to do.
I have lavender in the bedroom.
Right? Good. I'm on mission. I'm on mission. Now, here's the part I struggle with. And if I could figure this out, I could make my second $2 million. And it's that people need the income aspect. And I used to sell the idea of being a millionaire from network marketing. And I've come to a place where, you know what? Not everybody wants to be a millionaire from network marketing. Not everybody is going to do the work that they need to do it, but everybody could earn an extra $500 from a product that they like, that they share with their friends. We do it all the time, yet we don't get paid for it.
But in full transparency and in coaching a lot of top network marketers, how you get to the multiple millions is by coaching and nurturing other leaders who are heavily treating it like a legit business, who show up for themselves every day and doing all the things, right?
Right. Yeah. So, in my particular compensation plan, if I could help 52 people earn about $1,500 a month, of course, it has to be strategically placed in the right way, which makes it hard. Then I'm at the top of the company making 6 figures a month. So it's not that it's this big impossible thing. It's that if you're really clear about the path of least resistance. And most people in network marketing are really just there for the product. Even if they say they want to build the business, they're really a product user, a super product user, who if they could earn a couple extra $100 a month and get their product paid for, they'd be happy. So I actually think a problem in network marketing is when we think everybody has to be this, I want to be a millionaire, or we have to try to push people to that or get people excited about that. When really you want super loyal customers who share with a few friends and appreciate their commission kickback.
And I love how you simplified that and broke it down, which is another reason why you're so successful at this. You said like 52 or 56 people need to make 1,500, and, you have to strategically place them, which is something that, you would help someone do because you know how to do it and someone showed you how to do it. It's not that complicated. There's people who benefit off showing you. And when you simplified that, you'd be at the top of the company making 6 figures a month, and it's only 52 people. Like, that's why you're successful. When you position it like that, now it's like, how they say, like, I don't like the phrase because I love elephants, but it's like, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Like, why do we have to say eat an elephant? It's like, let's say a steak, right? How do you eat a steak? You don't swallow it whole. It's like one bite at a time. And that goes for any business. Like, how many of your course, how many of your program, how many jewelry sets, how many, bottles of shampoo, whatever your thing is, how many classes, how many retreats do you need for people to buy, regularly or on average to equal whatever. So do you now not go after because I noticed in looking at like your social media, you don't do what, like, I guess we could say the typical successful network marketer does, where I have lots of names for things, but it's like, Polly the influencer, and I'm traveling with my hot Instagram husband all over the world, and I'm barely working. And once in a while, I like show my shampoo that I use with my perfectly gorgeous hair. And that's just how I make my money. And you can too. You don't do that.
No, I don't do that. Honestly, I work. This is a job. I work from home, but I work, and my work is mainly connecting with people. I'm a network marketer. It means I'm a professional networker. This is one thing that I wish network marketers would understand. I wish my whole team would understand. Be a professional networker, which means you're out in your community or you're on social media. And when you're a good networker, you show up to help other people get what they want. So I'm not going to be in people's DMs trying to get them to try my product or, sign up in my downline. I'm going to be in their DMs finding out about their business. I'm going to do a virtual coffee date and learn about what they have to offer the world and how can I help them? How can I use my influence? Because I do that, I am well known in my community and in my circles. And when somebody either wants to learn about my product or somebody wants to start a business with my company, they think of me. So I'm much more, I guess it could be like network marketing for the people. Like, I want to help that stay-at-home mom who's been buying my product faithfully for a year, pay for that product and bring in $500 a month so that she can help with the mortgage, so she doesn't feel like she has no financial input in the household. And then maybe she'll like it and she'll get really good at it and she'll turn into a 6-figure earner. And then that's awesome. But I don't lead with that big money dream.
Interesting. I mean, it obviously that other approach must work, or there wouldn't be a lot of people doing it. So there's something in that approach. That's more hopium, it looks like.
And I think you have to be okay with the attrition and the turnover. And you have to really enjoy, okay, here's the truth about me. I don't like traveling. So when you're a network marketer who is launching big influencers, you might be traveling to Australia every 3 months. You might be opening a new team down in Costa Rica. I've never wanted to do it that way. I like working just in my backyard. I like working with people who are just like me. So I don't think it's a right or a wrong way. I think network marketing can be what you want it to be. And because I've come like 14 years in, and I went through a phase where I got depressed because the whole dream of like, work for a few years, like nobody will, so you can live the rest of your life like nobody can. It's a bunch of bullshit.
It is, because it's residual income. And I have friends who are top, like literally top 10 in their company, making $1 million, 2.5 million a year. And as soon as they took their foot off the gas, I mean, money still came in, but within, I would say 3 years from 1 million down to $100,000 a year.
Yep.
And just kept going down and down and down because it requires fuel. It does. It's not like you're working from scratch all the time either, though. So it's like it does require you to put fuel on. It's like a simmering campfire. There's like you got something there to work with. So that does make it a lot easier. That's how I look at residual income.
Yeah. If there's an emergency, if, my mom died and I got pregnant and married in the same 12 months. And so at that point in my life, I was so happy I had residual income and I was able to take a step back and my paycheck kept coming. But if I were to right now go, bye, see you, I'm going to go start this other thing. Yeah, my paycheck would dwindle. So I think there was a point where I went, oh, I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life. And if I'm not, then go ahead, retire, go figure something else out. So once I made the decision, no, this is what I want to do. I believe in what I'm doing. I had to design it in a way so that I liked doing what I was doing every day. And I don't like getting on big Zoom call trainings. I don't like traveling and launching new teams. What I love is networking and making friends and connections, turning people on to a cool product, and then showing them how to make some extra money if they want to. So that's how I've designed my business. And some cool things have happened because of that. I have over 60% retention rate, which is super unheard of in the network marketing reel. So in the network marketing world, so people come into my community and I think they feel so like loved on and cared for. They're looked at as humans, not as a dollar sign, that they stick around. And I will have people who've been ordering from me for 10 plus years. And they'll thank me. They'll just say, just thank you for just being a real person. Like you're so down to earth. You're always there for me. If somebody's having a hard time, like I'll buy them groceries. I've had all kinds of things like that happen. So I just believe in being a good human and creating a real community. And you don't have an exit strategy.
You're not sitting there going, what am I going to get every time you make a connection with someone? What am I going to get out of this? You're coming from a place of true service and knowing when you come from service, the abundance comes.
I have absolute confidence that the abundance will come from the service I give. So when I'm with someone, I'm just focused on what they need. And I really, really don't care if they buy my product or not.
And I vouch for that because, and I'm going to be straight up with you because I am a pretty high profile influencer in my category. And I don't know if we've talked about it, but there is a technique that is used in network marketing where and it works. That's why they use it. And it's been done to me before because, I can be naive. I'm not, that's not my industry. And they'll love bomb you, they'll start shouting me out and your podcast is the best. And, I'd love to have you speak to my team. And I'm like, oh, that's, it feels good when and it feels sincere. Someone loves your work. They really appreciate it. Now they're putting me in front of their team and you're getting all these shout outs and it feels good to your ego. And then when they can't get you to their agenda is to get me as an influencer in my large audience to sign up for their network marketing. And when they realize that's not going to happen, I'm dead to them.
Yeah. Yeah. And it feels like crap.
And I knew very quickly, but I have natural kind of I have a little bit of protection up because it's happened several times to me. So as soon as I know someone's in that, so when I knew you were in it, I had a little bit of protection up, but very quickly I knew because people's energy, you can't fake someone's energy. I knew very quickly, like you really do not care.
Yeah. Yeah. And I realized that takes time. I have the luxury to not care at this point because I have the income, but I had to learn that skill really early on because people can smell that. They can smell it a mile away. And the good ones will run away. And the ones that you don't want around will cling to you.
how did you, when you were a broke ass, basically, how did you, I call it mind fuckery. How did you do that in your brain? Because the truth is you needed money. You needed people to sign up and buy the oils and all the things. How did you put that away somewhere so you didn't come across like desperate vibes?
Yeah. So I leaned into this thing that we're dancing around, which is this belief that there's some kind of magic to all of this. So I would wake up every day and I would kind of pray, I guess. But I'm not, it's like, I'm telling you, I'm not a religious person. I have trouble with like the whole God thing. But I just felt like there was people out there who needed me. And if I could show up every day and be guided to the people that needed me, then I would. And so it was this feeling of trust and knowing that I would just go about my day. And it was hard. It was really hard. I was on food stamps when I started my network marketing business. So instead of having the traditional home party that a lot of people would do, I would go use my food stamps and buy salt and olive oil. And I'd invite people over to make bath salts and I'd charge them. So I would have a class, a home party, but I'd make 40 or 50 bucks, which was literally my groceries. And I would get customers out of it. So I just hacked the system. I would break apart kits and I would sell sample sizes. Most people will tell you, you have to give away samples. You have to invest thousands of dollars into samples with my particular type of product. I didn't do that. I sold samples so I could pay for my product. So I kind of just did what I had to do to make the bottom line work so that I didn't appear desperate and I was still covering what I needed. I also did things like I didn't buy new clothes. I didn't get my hair done. I mean, I was a scrub in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like I was a scrub and I just put everything into my business. I didn't try to, some network marketers will go rent the Lamborghini or they'll like try to put on the show that they're making all this money. And I just was like, a broke girl trying to change my life. And I was very open and authentic about it.
Because that is what a lot of people will say for any business. But if someone's hiring you or buying directly from you, they'll go, why would someone want to work with me in my organization or hire me as a coach or whatever when I don't, so to speak, have where I'm not even making money yet? Like, wouldn't they just go to someone like Arin or Tiffany? Why would they come to me? What do you say to that?
Yeah, I really believe that there's a group of people for you. It's the magic thing again. It's that there are people who are resonating exactly with what you have to bring, and you can't decide for them. That person may want to work with someone who has your particular skill set or just your energy or your vibe, and also trusting the process of growth. So the honest truth, when I first started my network marketing business, I did not attract wealthy people. I did not attract influencers. I still remember the day I enrolled my first, this woman owned her own house, had jewelry, was beautiful, had the money, had the network. And I was like, whoa, I can't believe she wants to work with me. And she blew up my business, totally honest. When I finally brought an influencer like that in, it was incredible. But it had taken me 1.5 years, 2 years of just working with the people who were coming to me before I came to a place where I could take that in and I could work with that person. And the truth about her situation is, sure, she had the money, she had the influence, the glam, the class, but she didn't have the knowledge that I had. And I saved her life. She would sit on this podcast right now and tell you that I saved her life with the knowledge that I have about my product. And so you just never know. You know something that somebody else doesn't know, and they're going to give you value for that knowledge if they think it's going to change something for them.
I know my listeners will kill me if I don't ask you. So what is it? The DMO? Is that what you called it?
The DMO.
I'm going to start just like walking around Manhattan Beach being like, so what's your DMO? People will be like, what the hell? But what is your DMO? I know you said, you do prayer. What are your like personal plus your, money making activity DMOs?
Yeah. Okay. So still 100% every morning there's a prayer, and the prayer is very simple. I trust in the divine plan, and everything is always working out for me. So I do that in bed. That's also my anxiety hack, by the way. I don't know why, but it completely fixes my anxiety. So then I have, for the whole 14 years, and I know some coaches will tell you this isn't a good thing to do, but it works for me. I love my cup of coffee in the morning. So I make my cup of coffee in the morning and I sit down with my cell phone and I do my connecting. So I try to follow up with at least 2 people a day. I talk to 2 of my 2 team members a day. I meet 2 new people a day on social media or out and about. I try to talk to 2 people a day about my product, and I try to talk to 2 people a day about my business. So I like to get that done first thing in the morning, and that's on my phone on social media. Then if I do any more connecting, it's all gravy after that point.
It's kind of like how I used to be a night workouter. Well, I also had an exercise addiction. I worked out like 5 hours a day, but now I work out like in the morning and it feels good. Like I know I've done it. Some people, the things that are a priority to you, sometimes it's better if by the time it's later in the day, you start fizzling out, you tend to procrastinate. I know those are my like prime hours. So I go with those prime hours, and then it feels good. It's like when you're open now and like you've done all your 2s, let's call them that. Like you've done all your 2s, or you've done your workout, or you've done your posts, or whatever your thing is. It allows room to be expansive and creative. It just feels good, doesn't it? Like, don't you feel good after like doing your jam?
Yeah, because I feel proud of myself. I marked it off my list. I know that because everyday life happens and things are going to be thrown at you. There's going to be roadblocks, and it is so easy for you to get through the day and not do something that invests in your future or your business. And so for me, it's been my business. For other people, it might be their health. It might be the workout. It might be your relationship. But it's like, don't let the whole day go by without investing into whatever is important to you. So now it's become a habit. Now it's the same as brushing my teeth. I wouldn't know how to wake up and not do my DMO. And because of that, my business keeps moving forward. Even when I'm not feeling it, even when I'm depressed, even when I've had a bad day, I can't really help it because I just do my DMO. Now, of course, if I'm in a good place and I'm high vibing, my DMO will be more successful. But I really believe that consistency trumps ability all the time.
So would you say the separator from people who are successful in any business, but in particular, what you've been watching with thousands of people, quite frankly, over 14 years, is it they're not willing to do the monotonous, consistent stuff, and I call it showing up regardless, that they like aren't willing to do it? Or is it procrastination? What do you think it is?
I think sometimes people are waiting for all the elements to align. Like they'll do it when they feel bright and shiny, or they'll do it when they're inspired. I fall into this when it comes with TikTok, right? I need to be the kind of person who does a TikTok DMO, but instead I'm like, well, I don't really feel like I look very good today, or I don't have anything to say. So weeks will go by and I won't do TikTok, right? And then I'll be like, oh my gosh, TikTok's the place to be. I'm going to make all these videos. So I feel like that's how a lot of people are with their business, where they're waiting for all of the pieces to be aligned, where if they could just wake up every day, make the damn video and get on with their life, they'd probably move the needle forward faster than they are right now.
Let's unpack that. What do you think's behind that? Because I do believe people believe you and people believe me listening right now. Like they get it. right? It makes sense. They get it. We're proof. We have the receipts. Yet then they still have resistance and still don't do it. You know, and I know that TikTok would be very smart for our business, yet we don't have, like, we've not been doing it daily, right? What do you think the resistance is behind that? Because if you know it's going to work for you, then why the fuck wouldn't you do it?
I know what it is for me.
What is it?
When I perceive TikTok to be a place where I am opening myself up for more criticism than I've ever opened myself up for before. And it's like, people already think essential oils are voodoo medicine, and they already think network marketing is a scam and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I can hide out on Facebook. I can hide out on Instagram.
It's also kind of familiar to you. You know, you've been doing familiar. It a while.
Mm-hmm. But if you are consistent on TikTok, you're going to go viral and you're going to get a lot of opinions.
Yeah, we know this. I mean,
I know it. Yeah.
Listen, I hired a TikTok coach. I've had her on the show. I've had another friend of mine who's, I major on TikTok. I have a TikTok influencer as a client. We know. You guys know what Arin's sharing with you about this DMO, the non-negotiables, whatever you want to call it. You guys know. But I think a question to explore is, like, there's something behind your feeling like there's a price to pay. And I can relate to you because, my thing is, I recently unpacked this, that it's okay for me to be successful, but don't you dare be more successful than mommy dearest, or you're screwed. Don't be skinnier. Don't be prettier. Don't be smarter. Don't make more money. And a lot of people looking at me go, yeah, but you are so successful. And it's like, well, that's all relative. Mm-hmm. Right. And my mom being a narcissist and that additional exposure. And it's like, so then there's my nervous system is like, that's why my book's not finished, right? Additional exposure. It's like, I'm okay with, and here I was on a TV newscaster, right? But I wasn't a TV newscaster like, in New York City. It was a mid-sized market, but it wasn't like a national show. I bet you part of really what's underneath why I left that industry sooner is because I was starting to go to the Seattle market. I got a segment on CNN. I was getting more exposure, and I couldn't do it. I short circuited.
We all have a cap, whether it's income or recognition, that we've decided is safe. And I can totally relate to that and see that I've got this cap where, like, if I make a certain amount of money over what I'm making now, then I better do something really good with it. And I have this internal belief system that, like, I don't know how to manage money, or I don't know how to do good with money. Or if you make a certain amount of money, you have to be like Mother Teresa or something.
That's how I lost when I had $1 million in my bank account at age 30. It's a story I share on the podcast. And I lost it all in 3 months. It was from that belief, because I thought, if you're someone who has that kind of wealth, now you need to be the prophet of the world. And then that responsibility. And then, like, I didn't know what to do with it. And it felt so overwhelming and uncomfortable. And I just kept, like, writing people checks. And I was like crazy.
Yep. We'll do that. And so I think at any level, for people listening, it's like, what's the number that makes you extremely uncomfortable? And then what happens if you have that much money or you have that many clients? And what's the biggest fear? Like, what's the worst that could happen? And then that's the work. Until you heal that, you're going to keep yourself at that cap.
And this work, you guys, is not meant to be done alone. It can maybe feel more comfortable to kind of do it alone and listen to this podcast and write about it, or go for a walk and think about it. And that's a beautiful start. But if you really want what you say you want, you can't unpack this alone. I know you didn't unpack your stuff alone. You're not now, nor am I. We know each other from a support group. Okay. Like, yeah. we are not trying to do this alone. So reach out to myself, reach out to Arin, like lean in. She's being generous and is giving an incredible freebie to you guys as well. So that's going to be in the show notes. But can you share with the people where they can reach out to you and really what can they expect from you? Like, is there a way they can like work with you or anything?
Absolutely. So if you go to my website, which is jasmineandjuniper.com, I actually have my scheduler right up there. It says book a wellness consult with Arin. But wellness is everything. So we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. I have some cool projects coming up soon. So it's great if you grab my freebie, because then you'll be alerted to what's going on. I hang out the most on Instagram, but I'm on TikTok too. So Instagram, I'm Jasmine and Juniper Living. TikTok, I'm Jasmine and Juniper.
We're gonna have how about we have an accountability TikTok DMO, you and I?
Yes,
this is what's happening. Yeah. This is happening, you guys. This is happening. We're doing it. Well, thank you so much for being just transparent in an industry where there's a lot of fake. And I know you guys appreciated this episode and being able to really look at some of the ways you're holding yourself back from having the life that you want. Take a screenshot of this episode, share it in your social media, share it in your Instagram, Facebook stories, tag me at ProjectME with Tiffany, and then you can tag Arin. I'll put her Instagram handle inside the show notes because I know you guys are like doing some form of multitasking. But if you just tag me, I'll make sure to reshare it in social media and then tag her. Go reach out, DM her on Instagram, let her know what you appreciated about the show. That goes a long way. Because if you want people reaching out to you and showing appreciation for the free value and the things that you provide, and you want to wake up to dozens and dozens of DMs yourself and have 5-star podcast reviews, well, you got to check yourself. When was the last time that you've done that for other people? Did I guilt you enough to leaving a fucking 5-star review yet? Because really, I mean, it takes 30 seconds. You guys can Google it. You know how to do it. Thank you so much, Arin, for coming on. I'm so happy to know you.
Aw, thank you, Tiffany. I'm so happy to know you.
Wishing you guys great health, wealth, and worth as always. Love you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.